Hi Girl Scouts! My name is Ashley Giamona. I'm a program manager for Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey, and I'm here today to give you another STEM challenge. Today we're going to be talking about architecture. Architecture is the study or art of creating buildings and structures. It's something that you can study in college, and if you really like this challenge, maybe you would like to be an architect. So just something to think about going forward. So if you didn't know, there are hidden shapes in the architecture all around you. Maybe you'll recognize this first object. I'll give you a second to think about it. This is actually a cell phone tower. So this is what makes your cell phone, if you have one, or your parents' cell phone work. And you can see that there are triangles hidden within the cell phone structure because triangles are a shape the architects use, and they're very, very strong. Our ancient ancestors, like the Greeks and the Romans, in this case the Romans, also hid shapes within their architecture. Here you can see within their columns or pillars, they have rectangles because those are very strong. And again, we see this triangular shape. And there's actually another shape within here. These columns are cylindrical, which means they're a cylinder. Like if you look at a toilet paper tube or a paper towel tube, that's what a cylinder looks like, and those are very, very strong because when you push down on them, the force goes in all different directions, and it's really hard to break them if you push down on them with equal force. And that's something that you can try as part of this challenge. And the last thing you might recognize are our pyramids. They're all, pyramid shaped, or they have those hidden triangles. So I'm going to read you a story called Iggy Peck, Architect, and this is about a boy who loves architecture. And maybe you can see some of those hidden shapes within the architecture. This book was written by Andrea Beatty and illustrated by David Roberts. Young Iggy Peck is an architect, and has been since he was 2, when he built a great tower in only an hour with nothing but diapers and glue. "Good gracious, Ignatius," his mother exclaimed, "that's the coolest thing I've ever seen." But her smile faded fast as a light wind blew past, and she realized those diapers weren't clean. "Ignatius, my son, what on earth have you done? That's disgusting and nasty. It stinks." But Iggy was gone. He was out on the lawn using dirt clods to build a great sphinx. When Iggy was 3, his parents could see his unusual passion would stay. He built churches and chapels from peaches and apples, and temples from modeling clay. You can see he's using a lot of those shapes. At dinner one night, to his father's delight, Iggy got a bright gleam in his eye, and out on the porch built the St. Louis Arch from pancakes and coconut pie. Arches are another very, very, very strong architect structure. Dear Ig had made it until 2nd grade when his teacher, Miss Leah Grier, on the very first day, she had this to say: "We do not talk of buildings in here. Gothic or Romanesque, I could care less about buildings ancient or new." She said in her lecture about architecture that it had no place in grade 2. That might seem severe, but she was sincere. For when she was no more than 7, she had a great fright at a dizzying height in a building so tall it scraped heaven. On an architect's tour of the 95th floor, young Lila got lost from the group. was found 2 days later in a stuck elevator eating cheese with a French circus troupe. After that day, it's quite safe to say, she thought all building lovers were nuts. As a teacher, she thought that, above all, one ought to avoid them. No ifs, ands, or buts. As you might guess, it would cause Iggy stress to hear such terrible talk. But he didn't hear. He sat in the rear while building a castle of chalk. You, Iggy Peck, your desk is a wreck. Tear down that castle right now. You are not building here. Is that perfectly clear? Do you need to see Principal Howe? No, ma'am, Iggy said. He lowered his head and his heart sank down to the floor. With no chance to build, his interest was killed. Now second grade was a bore. After 12 long days that passed in a haze of reading, writing, and arithmetic, Miss Greer took the class to the Blue River Pass for a hike and an old-fashioned picnic. They crossed an old trestle to a small island nestled in the heart of a burbling stream, but they no sooner passed than the footbridge collapsed and Miss Lila Greer started to scream. We're trapped here! Oh my! Alas, kids, goodbye! Her eyeballs rolled back in her head. She dropped to the ground with a vague groaning sound. Luckily, fainted, not dead. The class was amazed. They stood there quite dazed, uncertain of what they should do. But one bright young man was off hatching a plan, and started with Miss Lila's shoe. Soon each lad and lass there at Blue River Pass was working together as one. And when she came to, Miss Lila Greer knew that something quite brave had been done. She looked in the air and saw hanging there a structure with cables and braces, and on the far side, beaming with pride, were 17 smiling young faces. Boots, tree roots, and strings, fruit roll-ups and things, some of which we should not mention, were stretched ridge to ridge in a glorious bridge dangling from shoestring suspension. You can probably see some of those rectangles and triangles in this picture. It all became clear to Miss Lila Greer as she crossed that bridge over the stream. There are worse things to do when you're in grade 2 than to spend your time building a dream. Now every week at Blue River Creek Elementary in 2nd grade, all the school kids can hear, along with Miss Greer, how the world's greatest buildings are made. The weekly guest speaker in t-shirt and sneakers talks of buildings from Rome to Quebec. Of course, he's the guy who builds towers from pie, that brilliant young man, Iggy Peck. So, Girl Scouts, here's my challenge for you. If you have an entire pack of index cards, you can use all 100, and I want to see what kind of towers you can build with 100 different index cards. Think about what we talked about in architecture, about the arches, about the cylinders, about the triangles and the rectangles. See if you can use some of those in your architecture. The second part of the challenge is I want you to use only 25 index cards and an arm's length of tape. So just your arm, any type of tape is fine. And I want to see you build a structure that can hold a book. When you're done, send your structures to the Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey Instagram or the Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey Facebook. I can't wait to see what you guys build. Be your own Iggy Peck, and I can't wait. Stay safe, and can't wait to see your stuff. Thanks.